The most visible use of an identity plate is one that replaces the Lightroom logo at the far left of the top panel. However, the same identity plate you create for use in that position can also be used in the Slideshow, print, and web modules to apply your branding when you share your images. In this case, I'll show you how to create a custom identity plate using the Slideshow module. But keep in mind, you can also create an identity plate using the Identity Plate Setup option found on the Edit menu in Windows or the Lightroom menu on Macintosh, as well as in the Print and Web modules. In the case of the Slideshow module, we'll need to scroll down on the right panel to the Overlays section to find the Identity Plate option. With this option turned on, we can click in the Preview area to bring up the options for the identity plate. We can choose an existing identity plate, but in this case, we want to choose the Edit option to bring up the Identity Plate Editor dialog. Note, by the way, that this Identity Plate Editor dialog differs slightly from the one you would get by choosing Edit Identity Plate Setup or Lightroom Identity Plate Setup, depending on whether you're using Windows or the Macintosh, by virtue of the fact that this dialog box does not include the options to modify the font for the module picker at the right end of the top panel. You can use either stylized text for the identity plate or a graphical identity plate. If you're going to use text, you can simply click in the text box and type whatever it is you'd like to use for your identity plate. For example, I'll just type my name. You can then select the text and change the font using the font pop-up, the font style, the font size, and the font color. In this case, I'll leave the text as it is because I'm going to use a graphical identity plate. To use a graphical identity plate, simply choose the Use a Graphical Identity Plate option in the Identity Plate Editor dialog. You can then drag an image into the space provided or click Locate File to navigate to the file you want to use. The image you use should be around 40 or 50 pixels tall if you're going to use it to replace the Lightroom logo at the left of the top panel. Simply double-click to open the image you'd like to use, and as you can see, it will appear in the preview. If you decide not to use this image, you can click Clear Image, but of course you could also simply switch to a text identity plate, or you could click Locate File again to choose a different image that you'd like to use. Once you've configured your identity plate the way you'd like it, you can click the pop-up to choose Save As and provide a name for the identity plate. In this case, I'll just call the identity plate MA-TG for Mikkel Oland and Tim Gray. I'll then click Save, and my identity plate has been created. Now I can simply click OK, and this identity plate will be set to use for this particular output. Keep in mind that when using a graphical identity plate for a slideshow, print, or web output, the quality of that image will be quite poor if you enlarge it too much. But now that I've created my custom identity plate, as you can see, it will be available from the pop-up list whenever an identity plate is an option. I could then, of course, fine-tune the settings for the identity plate as desired. I find the use of a custom identity plate a lot of fun when it comes to applying branding to the Lightroom interface, but it is quite practical when used in conjunction with images you share via the slideshow, print, and web modules. Even better, it is easy to create your own identity plate and very simple to put that identity plate to use in a variety of situations.